God's math is different. He can take a little and multiply it. Something to think about. We'll see a little and feel like that's all we got. Mm-hmm. God says, hey, I can work with small numbers, right? He's done that with armies. He did that. Yahushua did that with the loaves and the fishes. Hey, take these loaves. I'm going to multiply it and we'll be able to feed the multitudes. God can multiply. He can turn a little into a lot. How many of us has been in a situation where we feel like, I don't know how I'm going to make it from one day to the next. Mm-hmm. And then something happens and you like, oh, that wasn't nothing but the Lord. Because it wasn't through my power, wasn't through my strength. That was only of the Father. I'll tell you a story. It was years before I came into the truth. It was a little bit before, right? I was going through a rough patch in my life, and I remember I didn't even think I had a job at the time. I lost my car. I lost my job because I lost my car. I wasn't able to get across town, and I was taking the bus, and I remember I was waiting outside of the bus, and it was like, okay, this is my last money for the bus. And a guy walked by. It was a Jake. He walked by, going to the corner store, and gave me $5 and said, hey, everything's going to be all right. Didn't say anything else. Hey, everything's going to be all right. Walks into the store, and I'm like, okay, I got money for the bus. That was only through God. Man. And there were steps, other things that were happening in my life that ultimately led me to coming into the understanding that I'm an Israelite. But those are the moments where you have to hear the voice of God. You got to say, okay, this wasn't my own power. I didn't know that guy from anywhere. I had never seen him before. He walks by, hey, everything's going to be all right. Boom, gives me the $5, and I'm able to get the bus to keep it moving. So all praise to the Most High for that. All right, now let's go to Sirach chapter 2 and verse 1.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1.
Because we have to understand that God's math is different. He can take a little and multiply it. Something to think about. We'll see a little and feel like that's all we got. Mm-hmm. God says, hey, I can work with small numbers, right? He's done that with armies. He did that. Yahushua did that with the loaves and the fishes. Hey, take these loaves. I'm going to multiply it and we'll be able to feed the multitudes. God can multiply. He can turn a little into a lot. All right, Sirach chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
So entering into service for God, it guarantees that trials are going to come. See, they didn't think I was going to say that right there, Eliakim. When you come to serve the Lord, it guarantees the trials are going to come. So that's where you got to set your mind at. Okay, I'm entering service to God. All right, the trials, they're about to come. Let me prepare myself. All right, verse 2.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
So when you have patience in times of scarcity, that proves your faith and trust in God. When you go through times of scarcity, just have patience. Just endure, go through the times where you're low so that God can give you increase. Verse 3.
Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
So when you go through times in your life where you're stripped bare and you're brought low, you have to understand that that's only for a small time. It's only for a season. Your increase is going to come, but you have to let the Lord do the work within you. You have to let the Lord do the work within you. If you don't have patience, if you don't want to be in that low state where God has stripped you to, you're not going to let him do the work that's sufficient. Take the time. That's why it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Make not haste in the time of trouble. When the trouble comes, don't run from it. Go through it, okay? Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Okay, the trouble comes. Now let me cleave unto God. How do I cleave unto God? I seek his righteousness. Hey, God, where am I falling short in my life? What am I supposed to be doing to help get me out of the situation? Okay, turn to the scripture. You apply this within your life. Whatever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Okay, I'm going through this trial right now. Take it cheerfully. Okay, I got to understand that God is working through me. Okay, I'm taking it cheerfully. I'm patient while I'm in this lower state so that I can hear the voice of God. I can do the work that he wants me to do. Okay, for gold is tried in the fire and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. He's purging the impurities out of your spirit. He's purging the unwanted things out of your life. He's taking that chisel and he's trying to fine tune you. He's trying to mold you into the man or woman he wants you to be. But you have to go through these times. You have to take it cheerfully when you're in that lower state. Let the Lord do his work. All right. So now let's go to stage number 3.
If I could say this real quick.
Yes, sir.
This is critical in growth. Spiritual growth requires you to go through the trial. You'll see people who will constantly stay in stress and in trials, and every year they keep going through it. You got to ask yourself, why do they keep going through the same issue? It's because God is trying to show them something, but they're rejecting it. God uses adversity as an instrument of correction. He uses adversity to bring change in your life. He's trying to show you something about yourself. So you could have someone who is constantly going through failed relationships. And they'll say, man, why am I in all of these failed relationships? It's everybody else. Everybody hates me. No, God is trying to show you there's something within you that's stopping you from being in a long-lasting, fulfilling relationship. Some people can't keep a job. Man, I can't keep a job longer than 6 months. You know what? It must be the man. No, God's trying to show you something about yourself. What are you doing at the job or outside of the job that's causing these kinds of consequences? It's cause and effect. You have to examine yourself daily in this walk. You have to look at your life and say, when I see something not going the way that it's supposed to, how do I start with me first? Don't focus on the outside things. Those things you can't control. Focus internally and watch how the external changes.
Absolutely. And great point. Because again, you got to think about your life as God's ultimate masterpiece. Again, God is the sculptor. You're the clay. He's molding you to what he wants you to be. So anybody that's done clay work or sculpted anything with wood, as you're sculpting it, us on the outside, King, right? We may be looking at it and be like, oh, that thing looks great. Mm-hmm. But the person that's the sculptor may see, I got to remove this little piece right here so that it could be a little sharper. It could be a little more rounded. Okay, I got to take the sandpaper and smooth it down a little bit because I know it's not supposed to be like that. You may not see it because you're on the outside looking in, right? But I know how it's supposed to be. That's how you have to be within your life. You have to say, okay, where do I need to be chiseled so I can be fine-tuned? That's the examination. And God is examining each and every one of us as the ultimate sculptor. No, I'm not done. I'm going to break this piece off. Okay, I'm going to smooth this piece down. That's you going through the trial. Imagine yourself as a piece of clay or a piece of wood. Having sandpaper rubbed on you it don't feel good. Put yourself there. Imagine if wood had feelings. That probably don't feel good. Okay, taking that chisel and chipping off that wood at that precise point, that probably doesn't feel good. So when you go through the trials, that don't feel good. When you take gold and you put it in the furnace, it's burning hot. If that gold had feelings, it probably would not feel good to go through that. So it doesn't always feel good to go through the trials, but the ultimate result, when that gold bar is sitting on that shelf and it's shiny, when that sculpture is sitting up there in that art gallery and people are admiring how it looks and they're giving praise and honor to the sculptor, that's when you get to feel all the joy, right? That's the moments where it feels good, but the building process don't always feel good. That's the growing process in each and every one of our lives.